The past decade has exposed a clear evolution in Melania Trump. What started as a visibly uncomfortable role, often appearing distant or uneasy as First Lady, has shifted dramatically. She's now stepping forward as a full partner in the family's brand building and business pursuits, matching her husband's flair for turning every spotlight into an opportunity. That calculated shift hit a serious snag just days ago, right in front of cameras during a live White House appearance. The moment unfolded in a way that drew sharp criticism and raised fresh questions about boundaries in official settings. I'm Abby Phillip, and this is Occupied Democrats, where we dig into the ongoing chaos surrounding the Trump administration. If you're tired of the endless stream of controversies coming out of this White House and want daily breakdowns that cut through the noise, make sure to hit subscribe right now so you never miss an update. The incident took place during a carefully staged White House gathering to celebrate the safe return of two American Israeli individuals who had been held captive by Hamas. Keith Siegel endured 484 days in captivity following the October 7, 2023 attacks, while his wife Aviva Siegel was held for 51 days before her earlier release. The event carried real emotional weight. Families reunited, lives saved after unimaginable trauma, and no one disputes the importance of marking those releases. Records and footage from the session show heartfelt exchanges. One of the freed individuals expressed deep thanks directly to Melania Trump, sitting right beside her. They spoke of gratitude for the support offered during the darkest periods. "Thank you for being such a caring and compassionate person," one said, describing how that help made a genuine difference in tough times. "It's an honor and a privilege to tell you this face to face." The appreciation extended to both Melania and President Trump for their role in securing freedom and reuniting families. "Bringing the hostages home was the single most critical issue on my mind," the speaker continued, emphasizing how that priority drove everything. There were acknowledgments of survival against terrible odds, stories of endurance that no one should have to live through. One mentioned planning to document those experiences in a forthcoming book dedicated to grandchildren who might never fully grasp the horrors without hearing them firsthand. In that book, thanks were specifically directed toward Melania for contributions to the safe return. "I wrote thank you to the mother because you helped bring Keith home and helped bring the hostages home," the individual said. "So I'm thanking you now." They stressed the value of sharing what a 64-year-old person endures when ripped from home, moments of certain death yet emerging alive to recount it all. The tone stayed warm and sincere through much of it. Melania maintained composure, listening attentively, responding with measured words that contrasted sharply with her husband's often volatile reactions under pressure. But the atmosphere changed when Melania herself steered the conversation toward her recently released biographical documentary titled Melania. She described an earlier encounter in New York back in January 2025 with Aviva Siegel shortly after Aviva's release as deeply moving. She noted that this meeting had been filmed and formed part of her new project. "It was an emotional meeting," she stated, "and it is captured on camera and available to see in my new film Melania." That single reference, mentioning the film by name and directing attention to its availability, immediately drew scrutiny. Critics pointed out the timing. This was an official White House event focused on celebrating freedom from captivity, not a platform for personal projects. A reporter pressed the point directly. "Why bring up a commercial documentary during such a solemn occasion tied to national and international efforts on hostage releases?" Melania pushed back firmly. "This is not promotion," she insisted. "We are here celebrating the release of the hostages. Aviva and Keith, they were in Washington, D.C. They called me. They said they would like to come over to thank me and to give hugs, and that's why we are here. It has nothing to do with promotion." She repeated the denial, framing the gathering purely as a personal thank you initiated by the couple themselves. Yet the initial mention lingered. Multiple news outlets captured the exchange in real time. Outlets described it as a clear pivot to self-interest. Headlines highlighted the contradiction, one moment expressing gratitude for humanitarian efforts, the next spotlighting a paid project that includes footage from related private meetings. Social media erupted with reactions. Commenters questioned the judgment. One observer noted that the freed individuals had already suffered enough without their reunion being tied to movie marketing. Another called the family masters of grifting, accusing them of treating public resources like a personal revenue stream. Voices online asked pointedly, "Why does this feel so familiar?" The pattern echoes Donald Trump's habit of inserting business plugs or personal boasts into unrelated moments. What stood out to many was the reporter's direct, almost scolding approach toward Melania. The question came sharp and unapologetic, demanding accountability on the spot. That tone sparked its own discussion. When was the last time a journalist confronted the president with the same intensity? Melania fielded the challenge without erupting. No visible frustration, no deflection into unrelated attacks, just a calm, repeated assertion that the focus remained on the hostage's freedom. Compare that restraint to her husband's well-documented responses when cornered. Those often escalate quickly, turning defensive or combative. Observers have speculated for years about factors behind those shifts. Some point to age, others to broader concerns about mental sharpness. If such patterns continue, the public might see more of Melania stepping into visible roles, handling public-facing duties with a steadier hand. She's already shown willingness to engage in high-profile events, build her own narrative, and defend her actions without losing control. In this case, though, the attempt to weave in her documentary backfired publicly. It turned what should have been an unambiguously positive moment, honoring survivors and their advocates, into another flashpoint about self-promotion in official spaces. The backlash rolled in fast. People online piled on, calling it tone-deaf at best, exploitative at worst. Ethics experts weighed in, noting that while no strict rules prohibit such references from a First Lady, the optics matter enormously when taxpayer-funded venues host the event. Advocates for the hostages and broader prisoner release efforts expressed discomfort. The core message, gratitude for survival and return, risked getting overshadowed by commercial undertones. Melania's defenders might argue she was simply sharing context about her involvement. After all, the film reportedly includes that January 2025 meeting as a key emotional beat, and the couple themselves appeared appreciative in their remarks. But the delivery landed poorly for a wide audience. In a polarized environment where every move gets dissected, slipping in a film plug during a hostage celebration gathering invited exactly the criticism it received. This isn't isolated. Over the years, the Trump brand has blurred lines between public service, family image, and profit. Melania's trajectory, from reserved figure to active participant, mirrors that broader dynamic. She's learned the playbook: seize visibility, control the story, turn personal moments into broader narratives. Yet this particular instance exposed vulnerabilities. When the spotlight hits too directly on self-interest during a sensitive humanitarian win, it can undermine the very goodwill being celebrated. The internet didn't hold back. Posts flooded in questioning priorities. Why reference a movie when the focus should stay on lives saved? Haven't these people endured enough without their stories serving as backdrop for promotion? Some found irony in the denial itself. The words, "available to see in my new film Melania," function as an advertisement, no matter the framing afterward. Others highlighted the double standard in press treatment. Reporters grill the First Lady aggressively, yet similar questions to the president often trigger different reactions: deflection, counterattacks, or outright avoidance. As this administration moves forward, moments like these will keep testing boundaries. Melania appears increasingly prepared to step up, handle scrutiny, and maintain poise where others falter. You can almost picture her in future settings, facing cameras thinking, "Here we go again," another round of questions, another chance to steer the narrative. But this one stung. What began as a celebration of freedom ended up fueling debates about appropriateness, ethics, and the endless pursuit of personal branding at the highest levels. The facts remain: 2 lives returned home safely. Gratitude was expressed. Yet the shadow of self-promotion crept in, and once it did, it proved hard to shake. That's the reality we're left with. A moment that could have stood purely as triumph instead became another chapter in the ongoing saga of the Trump family's public image machine. Stay tuned for more on these developments. The stories keep coming, and we'll keep bringing them straight to you. If this breakdown hit home, drop a like, share it with others who need to see it, and subscribe for the next one. We're just getting started on exposing what really goes on behind the scenes. Thanks for watching. This is Dan, signing off from Occupied Democrats.